I don't know about you, but I think I've had enough of undead monsters for a while. So I say it's time to put the situation to rest. Welcome back to the finale of Shadow Heart's Koudelka. Unless I show off the alternate ending, which I might do. There's a lot I wanted to talk about regarding that final cutscene we got in the last video. There wasn't time left to do that. I'm not sure if anybody watching this is familiar with the game Tenchu Stealth Assassins. I was talking about its sequel last video. James's voice actor reminds me a lot, especially in that last cutscene, of the narrator from that game. I believe that guy was also in Symphony of the Night for Castlevania fans. At some point you're supposed to get a message that James is going to stay behind. I don't think the game spawns enemies here, but I can't remember. I re-recorded a little bit of this since we're on a major backtrack and turned off enemy encounters just to make this go a little more smoothly and reduce the amount of editing time for me. Plus, you can see the length of the video. It's already a bit longer than I would like. That's what she said. Which is funny because I used to do 45 to 50 minute videos all the time. But over the last few years, I have been trying to cut that down quite a bit whenever possible. Ideally, I'd like to keep them around 30 minutes if I could. And again, I have trouble getting on or off of a box. In this case, getting on one. So yeah, we are going to pick up supplies to make nitroglycerin, which is interesting and very volatile. I thought about cutting some of this backtrack, but in case somebody's watching this playthrough as a walkthrough, I didn't want to leave them trying to figure out where the hell to go, like I had to do. A lot of these areas are from so far back in the game that it was tough for me to remember how to get to where we need to go. And it wasn't really that hard to backtrack. I showed this off at one point. We needed to fill that with acid. We saw that earlier where you had an option to fill something with acid, but we didn't have a beaker for it. So that's the big backtrack that we needed to do. Now we have to just make our way all the way back. This is definitely a bit of game padding. They could have given a shortcut or done something to make this a little less intrusive. But it could be worse. It's just for me, I found this area a little bit uncomfortable to try to navigate because I don't know the area very well. But I didn't have too much trouble. And this part being re-recorded, I had an even easier time of doing that. Also with that cutscene, I like how the characters are showing concern for one another, wanting each of them to go back so that they can be safe and avoid danger. Yet they're being jerks about it, insulting each other, everything like that, because that's kind of how their characters are. It's a nice way of staying in character, yet showing that they do have some sort of concern for each other.
I'm going to begin my work. Can you two wait for me here?
And then, what happened to the girl Melanie?
She was gone the next morning. She left with practically everything in the room.
You don't have much luck with women, do you?
Well, you know what they say. The cleanest breakup is when a woman runs out on you.
What is her statement? Oh, but you're lucky. I mean, to have so many people to kid around with. For me, I'm all alone. I've been all alone all my life.
What about your childhood?
Yes, I did have a childhood. I was born in a small town in Wales, right off the banks of the Taliesin River. It was a small gypsy town.
Gypsy?
That's right, gypsy. And we didn't call ourselves Gypsy. We called ourselves Rom. See, a true gypsy is born under the blue sky and is destined to die under the same blue sky. It's gypsy law.
So then I guess you plan on dying underneath the blue skies.
Every gypsy is given a name at birth. My given name was Slato.
Slato? Mm-hmm. It's got a strange resonance to that name. What does it mean?
I can't tell you.
That too must be part of the law.
The law it is.
You know, ever since I met you, enigmatic, mysterious glint in your eyes. Man, it must be the gypsy in you. A glance from thy soul-searching eye can raise with hope, depress with fear.
Byron again?
Yeah.
You must really like him, don't you?
Yes. So I feel as though we're birds of a feather.
Then he must be self-obsessed as well.
I'd rather be classified as a romantic. My father was a strict man and couldn't forgive his son for failing academically. He blamed my failure on the time I wasted inventing adventures, dreaming of a utopian landscape. I was brought up to believe that dreams, the power of the imagination, as well as all the things I loved as a child, were useless, a complete waste of time. It was as if he was telling me I was useless. And then again, maybe just that. You know, I think I was probably born too late. By the time I was 15, everything there was to be done had already been done. The Western territories were colonized. The jungles had been explored. There was no wilderness for me to wander into. No jungles for me to cut my way through. I guess that's how I ended up roaming the country. And granted, I picked a few fights along the way, played with fire, gambled on my life a few times. But none of that comes close to the truth I'm searching for. I yearn for something far greater. I can't quite explain myself, but it's as though I'm on a quest for some intangible treasure of sorts. Koudelka, I envy you. You have psychic powers that few are blessed with. Being born a gypsy, you can choose to live how you wish.
And who gave you the right to act as if you figured me out? Do you have any idea how I was raised? You make me laugh. Adventures. Please, you haven't the slightest clue. Do you have any idea how much pain my psychic powers have brought me? My father died when I was only a child. I predicted the exact time, place, and ending of my father's life. Imagine that, predicting your own father's death. You know, I was cursed as a child, being given powers not meant for a child. And my mother, oh, she was so frightened and so full of hatred for me. She tried to kill me with her very hands. The gypsy elders got together and decided to excommunicate me. I was only 9 then. Do you have any idea how a 9-year-old child survives without the help of a living soul? Treasures, you must be joking. Have you ever cried and begged for your next meal? Did you ever sell your body, seeking shelter from the frigid night air? I used to be just like Charlotte. When she cried and said, "No one has ever loved me." Oh, her words cut straight through me. It was me she was talking about. Just like her, I wish that everybody would die and harbored a hatred for all mankind. But you see, Charlotte has made her peace and gone to heaven. Me, I'm still alive and still all alone. No one has ever lent a helping hand. No one.
Koudelka, you?
I am not as free as you make me out to be. I am a poor, dirty, ignorant woman who threw her gypsy pride to the dogs in order to live. But you see, even someone like me can do good. Because with my powers, I can help ease the pain of others. That's when I feel good about living. I don't need to be loved. I just want my life to have some meaning. And just want someone to tell me they need me. You. No way will you ever understand.
It's done. It's completed.
Well, what do I even begin to say to that? Holy shit. 1, very long cutscene. 2, we get a lot of tragic backstory for these characters. I do like the voice acting in most of that scene. A lot of that is some of my favorite voice acting in the game, and I've mentioned before that I'm a big fan of these voice actors. At least their portrayals of these characters, anyways. I do like that Koudelka had a tough life, yet she still wants to do good. Although it's kind of fitting of the character that it's kind of for selfish reasons. She wants to help others because it makes her feel good. Which is not a bad thing by any means. It's just an interesting aspect of her character. And part of what makes her human. That's something I really like about these characters is that they are very flawed. And those flaws feel natural. And I get a lot more emotion in that cutscene and a lot more attachment to these characters and their story than a lot of modern games that have come out over the last 10 or 15 years where they try to be emotional and try to make you care. I could list a couple of games right now, but one in particular I bitched about quite often, so I won't do that. I went and saved my game. That's the last time you're going to come across that fountain. So if you need to refill any stats, I highly recommend you go do that. And now we can finally make our way to the last area in the game.
It's amazing.
We heard Roger Bacon talk about this tree of life. I'm guessing that's what all that is. We will be fighting some of its tendrils later. Not very much fun. So there are a few things we need to do in here that we will not be blocked off from that fountain, so you can go back and use it still. I didn't, because I'm so OP at this point, and I have so many supplies that anytime I came across something significant, I would just use a healing item or a magic restore. But that's why I put so much effort into collecting items, leveling up as much as I did. And the thing is, I had fun doing it too. So it wasn't a chore. Plus it meant more of this game, which for me was a good thing. So I believe this puzzle, you used that bookshelf clue that we got last video to solve. Or just look at what I do and you'll be fine. I would call these out, but bad eyesight means I can't read this. But there you go. There's the solution. And that's our last puzzle of the game. I wouldn't say the puzzles are as good as the ones in Resident Evil, but I'm glad they're there. And yes, unfortunately the game will still spawn enemies in here. It is helpful because it will allow me to upgrade everybody. But still, it's kind of tiresome at a certain point. Haha! I was gonna make a joke about them being hard as a rock, but then that didn't really work, so not gonna do it. Hey, James gets a kill! Holy shit! He doesn't really have much to do in these fights, since he's our buffer character. There were a lot of these camera angles where I had a lot of trouble seeing Koudelka. Although they weren't as bad as some of the camera angles in Fear Effect 2. Those gave me a lot of problems.
Patrick. Poor Patrick.
Hey, what are you doing? What's that? No, don't!
I'm not asking for your help. This is my problem. None of you need to die with me here.
Alright, James is finally growing a spine. And showing that he does have a sense of honor.
Are you sure? Let's proceed. Saint Daniel Scodius, protect us from these evil spirits and grant us inner strength. Amen. Thou, who were created and born out of dust, now go quietly and return to thy Maker!
And now we are at a point of no return, so hopefully you went back to that fountain, or have plenty of items. And unfortunately, our attempt at performing a ritual to stop this whole thing was too late. Very contrary to a lot of stories where your hero gets there just in time. And speaking of tendrils, here we go. This is part of that Tree of Life. We will have, I believe, 3 encounters with this thing. There's a gimmick to one of these fights involving one of these tentacles, but I can't remember what it was. I guess they're roots, not really tentacles or tendrils, but whatever. I like the word tendril. Alright, tendril. Have a tendril sandwich. That made no sense. Damn it. I thought about editing these, but these are new encounters, so I decided not to. It could have saved on video length, but oh well. Time to die! Oh good. It was taking a while to die, so I was worried I made that comment prematurely. So we're getting towards the end of this game. This is our long climb up the exterior of this monastery, up to the end of the game. And it's not really that long. A lot of the reasons this video is as long as it is because there are a lot of mini boss fights and boss fights. They should have just brought some of that weed killer that the STARS members used in Resident Evil 1 to deal with that plant. Or V-Jolt. I would think V-Jolt would have taken this thing down really quickly. It's time that Edward be the woodsman! Haha! Okay, that comment would have worked better had that attack killed it. I noticed Koudelka seems to perform her spells a lot quicker the longer a battle goes. I'm not sure if that's because other characters have taken their turns already. And I love that. As you upgrade those spells, they target multiple enemies. Really handy. So we're basically climbing up the exterior of this monastery. I heard in the first Shadow Hearts game you come back to this monastery, which is interesting. I'm not sure if that's optional or if you have to do it. And again, a lot of times here I have trouble seeing where Koudelka is. And I believe this is the encounter with that gimmick. These things are generally weak to fire, but I believe fire heals the one in the back. If memory serves me. Which it usually doesn't. So don't take my word on that because this is not a walkthrough. Alright, Edward, get to chopping! Ha! I don't know why, but the axe seems like a perfect weapon for Edward. Well, that's more effective than guns usually are against enemies. I can't remember the last time I faced an enemy where a gun was actually effective. Probably that dude that was shooting at us. Very nice. You don't like the fire, do you? That's one instance where a forest fire is a good thing. So I hope you've been enjoying this game. And I hope this LP will motivate you to check it out for yourself. Of course, to do that you will likely have to emulate it, but hey, that's what I'm doing. Although I do own a physical copy of this game. and I am not willing to part with it. I would never want to play this game on a physical copy because I love using save states, but I'm still happy to own it. I'm actually pretty proud of my game collection. I have quite a few. You don't get that with digital games. There's nothing to hold on to, or look at, or show off. So the gimmick for this route is you need to use water to kill it. I don't mind the little change up there. And that's where I decided to show off some stats. They're gonna go very briefly, but since I forgot to show where everybody was level-wise at the start of each video, so I figured I would show that off. I think I upgrade Koudelka one more time, and I don't show that. But that's good enough. You can get an idea of how I'm upgrading my characters. And there's where everybody else is. I got several encounters with random enemies, which irritated me, but at least it allowed me to upgrade, which is great because upgrading refills all of your stats. So that is an option too if you don't use that last fountain. But why wouldn't you if it was there? Except that I already said I didn't. Hypocrisy! Thy finger points at me! I do like the scope of this place. It seems really big, but not too big. And I can't think of too many games during this generation where you climb up a tower like this, and it looks that impressive. Save your game. Annoyingly, the game will still spawn enemies here for some reason. Even though we're headed to the final boss, which has 3 stages. Oh, and be sure you have that pendant. And get to running. And save your game if you want. If you don't have that pendant that I told you to pick up a few videos back, you die there. That's why I said it's very important to have that pendant. I think there is another option for picking it up, but I'm not sure. And here's our first encounter with Elaine. Here we want to use James as a buffer character, like always. And Edward, we want to get him the hell away from this thing. This thing is incredibly resistant to physical attacks. I think eventually I have him start using magic as well. I figure since he has it, I might as well use it, even if it is weak sauce. And I did a lot of fast forwarding during those menu trips because of time, which is unfortunate because this is a really cool theme. The battle music in this game is quite good. It just gets repetitive when you have to engage in so many battles, but I never got tired of it. And you want to use the tornado spell. I believe we've used all 4 magic spells in this video as well, which is cool. I like having variety when it comes to spells and attacks. The same with any kind of weapon you would use in a game. If I'm playing Resident Evil, I like to use all the guns. Silent Hill, all the guns, all the melee weapons. Although in my playthrough of Silent Hill, I didn't use all the melee weapons because the knife is pointless and I saw no need for the steel pipe. So that's pretty much the strat. Just keep Edward and everybody away from this thing. If you want to have him do some magic, cool. Go for it. But since I built him as the physical fighter and the tank of the party, he doesn't have a whole lot of options magic-wise. But every little bit helps. And any buffing we can do to Koudelka is always a good thing. Oh yeah. Let's not think about what I just said there too much. And continue dealing with Elaine. Actually, it's not really Elaine, it's just her body morphed into this horrible beast. It's kind of weird to call this thing Elaine. But then again, that gets into the question of what makes somebody a person. Is it their soul or their spirit, or is it the body, or is it both? I don't know the answers to these questions. I'm not a philosopher. Damn it, Jim. I'm a blind man, not a philosopher. Alright. One more of these ought to do it. I like that tribal beat that was going in this theme. I don't know that I'm going to get the spell off before the attack. Nope, didn't. And I'm not going to say dead, because this is only part one of the fight. I think that's my favorite music in the game. It's really good. And let's keep on running. Keep on running, keep on running, keep on running. Damn it! Damn it, Elaine! Or Elaine's corpse, or whatever you are. Now, here, this is a little bit different. I went ahead and equipped Edward with the crossbow. Now we can do physical attacks against this thing. Haha! Got her! And as you can see, the crossbow does a lot of damage. The shotgun might have been useful here as well. We want to keep everybody away from this thing as much as possible. And now, if you use the tornado attack, I think it heals it. So we don't want to do that. It's like the Borg, it's adapting. I think our main goal here was to do physical attacks. And then the earth-based attack with Koudelka does the most damage. That actually wasn't useless at all. That was actually pretty good. I could attack with James, but I'm not sure what the shotgun would do against this thing. Probably nothing. But he's our weakest fighter, so I don't think we need to do that. Unfortunately, reloading the crossbow, which you have to do after each turn, takes a turn, so you really get to attack once every other go, which is kind of frustrating. But at least the crossbow is awesome. So it kind of works out. Alright, time for the final form. Every RPG, the final boss has to have a final form. This game is no different. So now we see that what we were fighting before was just a portion of what Elaine has become, which is interesting. Well, not Elaine specifically, but that thing that was brought back in Elaine's body. After each encounter with Elaine, I would be sure to use all my healing items to heal up everybody, use magic restore as needed, just to be prepared. And since I grinded and got so many items, I had plenty I never used. And you don't really need any of that for this fight. You're seeing my first attempt at this fight, which is actually the best, but your goal here is to lose. Which was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, considering all the upgrading I did. So I'm showing you how to beat this fight. And technically, winning this fight gets you what's called the good ending, but I think it's actually the bad ending, because I'm pretty sure Elaine's soul gets sent to hell if you get that ending. So I fought this thing a second time. I feel like I pretty well kicked her ass in this fight, and I'm proud of that. That's part of why I'm showing this fight. Also, it's the shortest of the 3 times I fought this thing. My second attempt at this fight, I tried to lose, but I had to attack her to get her to even get motivated to do anything. Otherwise, we were just sitting there. And unfortunately, even doing that, I ended up beating her with a weak hit from a melee weapon from Koudelka, of all things. I haven't powered up her physical attacks at all this LP. And finally, on my third attempt, I was able to lose to her to get the technically bad ending, but I think it's the good ending. It's definitely the canon ending, anyways. Part of the story in Shadow Hearts continues from that ending. But I'm not going to spoil any of that. And I don't think I need to walk through how to lose to this boss. I'm pretty sure anybody can figure that out on their own. And that's something I remembered about this game from the LP that I saw 5 years ago, was that you needed to lose to this boss to get the canon ending. But I do like kicking its ass. It makes me feel like a man! It's a shame I didn't get to use that crossbow more often. It's also a shame you can't have multiple arrows in it so you wouldn't have to reload all the time. But I understand why you can't. You can't actually load a crossbow with multiple arrows as far as I know. Although I do think it's strange that crossbows in games are generally more powerful than a lot of guns. I'm no weapons expert, but I do find that hard to believe. Possibly more powerful than a 22? Maybe. But that's about it. And even then, I would still think even a 22 would be more powerful than a crossbow. But like I said, I'm no weapons expert. Ha-ha! Victory! That's what you get! And now we get the canon ending, which took a lot of work to accomplish. Final victory pose.
Dear God, is this my fault? Do you blame me? Are you punishing me now because the path of my faith was tainted? I accept my fate. If it is your wish, then I accept my fate. He who has an ear, let him hear. If anyone is to go into captivity he will go. If anyone is to be killed with the sword he will be killed. I am what I am. I am content with my lot. I have always loved you, Elaine.
Let's go home, James. Let's go home. I have such fond memories of those days.
No! Flames are coming this way!
Don't be silly. There must be something we can do. We'll be fine. Trust me.
In these crazy times, young people push themselves too much.
Ah, the sun came out. I prefer it a little hazier, though. Goodbye. We'll probably never see each other again.
Hey, your nickname. Slato? What does it mean? I haven't even asked you yet. Will you tell me?
It means treasure.
Oh, that's rich. I'll remember that. Treasure.
Is it okay, child, for you not to follow him?
Yeah, it's okay. I have a feeling that someday, somewhere, we'll meet again.
And that's it for Koudelka. This was a really fun game to play. And as we do at the end of all my Let's Plays, Victory Sip! This kind of flashes me back to my experience with Eternal Darkness last year. A game that I had heard of, been wanting to play for a long time, finally played it, and really enjoyed it. Except, I really enjoyed this game even more than Eternal Darkness. And I think we have an interesting choice for background music for these end credits, which I normally mute, but I'm not going to here, even though I'm going to talk over them. So what I like to think happened there is you defeat the boss, and then it regenerates, and James sacrifices himself to, I guess, get the power of God to kill it, or something, I'm not really sure. But you don't get that in the quote-unquote good ending, and I'm pretty sure Elaine's spirit doesn't go to heaven in that ending. Although James lives, but he's still depressed. And he doesn't get the redemption that he gets in that scene. So to me, that's actually the good ending. Plus, it's the canon ending. And from that, Koudelka and Edward have a child, a daughter, who will be a character in Shadow Hearts. I'm not sure if we'll get to that. I know it's very different than this, and I really wanted more of this. And it's funny because it feels like they're setting up a sequel with Koudelka saying she thinks her and Edward will meet again, that we never really get. I won't say too much about what characters show up in Shadow Hearts. I have done some research on that. But it's a totally different game from what I understand. But this game, I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun to play. There are not very many negatives I would have to say about it. And the complaints I do have are pretty minor in the grand scheme of things. If I were reviewing this game, I would give it a solid 9 out of 10. It is a really good game. And it's a shame that this game didn't get the attention that it deserved. Something else I noticed about this game, I kind of enjoyed some of the stock sound effects that I heard throughout it. And most noteworthy, I'm pretty sure I heard the traveling through a wormhole sound effect from Stargate SG-1 in that last cutscene where James sacrificed himself. As for what I'll do next, probably continue Mass Effect, but I'm not sure. I do want to consider other options. I also have a couple of missions that I was not aware of for that Tenchu game I did a few months back that I need to get to. So I have a few irons in the fire. We'll see what happens. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a blast, and I will see y'all in whatever I do next.